the grand scheme of things, most Gumball episodes follow a semi-coherent formula. Gumball does something stupid, disaster happens, and everything goes back to normal, usually. But then there are some episodes that don't follow that, and in fact, don't make any sense at all. From objects of the world talking to each other, to Richard becoming a bun.
I'm a bun, I'm a bun, I'm a tasty, tasty bun.
These are 7 Gumball episodes that no one understands, starting with by far one of the most confusing Gumball episodes of all time, The World. In Elmore, it's a known fact that everything from a dinosaur to a piece of toast is alive. But where exactly is the line? That's what the episode The World tried to show. Though what came out of it was a series of show and tell that never ended, with everyone more confused than when they began watching. The episode opens with a musical number that feels like a cheerful PSA, but quickly goes from a comic slapstick to a psychological horror. We start with the sun, earth, and moon.
Oh man, do you really have to do this every morning?
In most shows, this would be a majestic display of the universe. In Gumball, it's just 3 celestial bodies tired of their own routine. Then we move to the Watterson bedroom, where a light switch is pranked by a light bulb, and that's when things get dark.
Light bulb, light bulb. Lighten up! Would you mind giving it a rest for just one? Light bulb, no!
If a light bulb could fake its own death for a joke, then Elmore's definition of alive is officially operating on a level that defies both physics and common sense. Things only get worse from here, though.
Bacteria, the plan now unfolds. Bacteria.
That can only be said as a total civilization wipeout, but the episode doesn't even give us time to breathe. It shifts, and this is where things get truly weird. We are now taken to the bus stop sign, the mailbox, and the bicycle.
And I wish I was a plane.
I wish my face was on the other side.
That's enough to give anyone the creeps. Every time someone rides that bike, they are sitting directly on his face. When Tony hops on and pedals away, the bicycle's muffled annoyance isn't just a gag. It becomes a cry for help that whoever is watching is forced to witness, before we're all being whisked away to another scene. This time, we are introduced to a sausage who is being heated up.
Yeah! Woo! I'm smoking hot!
Throughout the episode, we check back up on him as he turns from pink to brown to exploded. His desire to be, quote, tanned on the inside is perhaps the most accurate representation of toxic beauty standards ever. Or it's just a sausage with a death wish, no one can be sure. Then there are the wire cables under Nicole's computer, which is everyone's nightmare to be fair.
I don't like it. It's way too tiny. Yeah, that woman's not the boss of me. I say we start a revolution.
But perhaps the star of the show is the Cafeteria War, featuring a burger captain and his fry soldiers. And nobody would be able to guess who the enemy is.
Captain, get up right now so we can walk out of here now!
This scene is why people find this episode jarring. We spent 3 minutes invested in the tactical maneuvers of this war, only to realize we are watching a lunch break. It forces the viewers to confront the fact that every time a character in this show eats, they are essentially destroying a civilization that lives and breathes. And just as the cherry on top, we're taken to Anais and her most favorite thing in the world, Daisy the donkey. The world is confusing not just because the plot is complex. The episode literally has no plot. It's confusing because it forces us to acknowledge a terrifying reality. In Elmore, literally everything is alive, and most of it is suffering. If the world taught us that objects have feelings, the next episode, The Pants, teaches us that objects have no business wearing clothes. This episode is a masterclass in how a single choice, such as a banana putting on a pair of pants, can lead to the total collapse of a civilization and logic in Elmore. In the series of Gumball episodes that nobody understands, The Pants holds a special place because it tackles the most dangerous question in animation. How is anyone in the show actually dressed? The episode begins with the moment that would set the stage for the entire plot.
Aha! You've understood that you were nothing before being born, and that sent you into a cosmic crisis about life that left you changed forever?
No!
For the average person, this is a normal Tuesday. For Gumball Watterson, it's an insult to the gods. This puts him into a state of shock as he realizes that Banana Joe was also usually wearing a peel. This would spin him out of control.
Why are you so preoccupied with what Banana Joe wears?
He's a banana. His skin is his clothes.
The reason this episode feels like a fever dream is that it forces every character to rethink their own existence. That's when Banana Joe would note the appearances of other characters.
She used to wear a shell. What about this bachelorette party outfit?
This realization hits Darwin the hardest. Darwin, who usually lives in a state of blissful ignorance, suddenly realizes he's a fish walking around in nothing but sneakers. And his response comes from that same state of shock, as though he's making up for all the years of living without any clothes.
Joe opened a can of worms, man. It's unpicking the whole social fabric, one stitch at a time.
This marks the start of a montage of nightmares, as the entire school descends into chaos, all for the simple quest to be decent. But this would lead to the most cursed images in the series. The Ocho segment is perhaps the peak of the episode's absurdity. Gumball and Darwin try to figure out how pants would fit on an 8-bit spider pixel. While the pair tries to figure out the answer to this problem, Ocho has a valid crash out.
I just don't know what to do!
To combat Joe's overdressing, Gumball organizes a counter movement, total nakedness. And this is where the episode becomes truly incomprehensible. We see a classroom full of naked characters, except that's exactly like the show usually looks. Gumball's master plan to shame Joe involves calling Joe's parents. In any other show, the parents would show up and tell their son to take off the pants. However, here, things take an unexpected turn.
Mom? Why are there two of you?
What do you mean? I'm your dad.
No, you're not. My dad has a mustache, and you haven't got any.
It's the Elmore equivalent of seeing someone walk into a grocery store without their skin. As after seeing his parents like this, Joe panics and takes his own peel off. The episode ends on a freezing bus. Gumball is shivering because he's naked. That's when the episode ends on a high point in its absurdity.
You look cold. Here, take this.
Let me say that again. Gumball puts on the discarded, hollowed out skin of his friend to stay warm. The reason the pants leaves audiences confused and slightly ill is that it breaks the cartoon nudity paradox. We are fine with Gumball being, quote, naked for 6 seasons, but the moment he says he's naked, we become uncomfortable. This episode takes advantage of that, and ultimately leaves us all wondering what we just watched. But if you thought that was weird, then I don't think you're prepared for how strange the episode The News is. If there is one thing the Amazing World of Gumball excels at, it's taking a familiar format and beating it with a hammer until it loses its sense of self. The episode called The News is the hammer, and while most episodes at least give us the illusion of a beginning, middle, and end, The News decides that a narrative structure is too mainstream. Instead, it goes for a rapid-fire assault of segments that feels like it has no plot or direction.
We go live now to the scene of the blaze, and we have some new developments on the joyful burger robbery.
The episode begins innocently enough. Gumball and Darwin are bored, flicking through channels with the kind of existential dread only a preteen can feel on a Tuesday. They then settle on Channel 6 Elmore News, which doesn't even have a good beginning. First up is the Joyful Burger heist, a robbery that apparently took place in broad daylight. To keep the peace, the Elmore Police Department dispatched their officers to the scene, and we cut to the reporter on the ground.
The police responded with a low-key operation, handling the situation with sensitivity and minimal force.
Now, at first glance, this might seem like the police are actually serious about apprehending this criminal, but if you've watched Gumball, then you know that the Elmore PD never takes their work seriously. And just a few seconds after the report, all the officers get in line just to place their lunch orders.
We got 2 milkshakes, 2 cronuts.
From there, we go to a family that narrowly escaped a burning house. The firefighters are quickly dispatched to take care of the blaze, but all of them are made of marshmallows, so things don't go so well. But we do get to see the family that lived inside that house.
Tell us, how did the fire start?
I saw a spider.
later.
This scene alone breaks the entire continuity of the episode. We started with us watching Channel 6 News as Gumball and Darwin, but suddenly Gumball and Darwin are on the news. The show doesn't even try to explain how this is possible, and just moves back to the Joyful Burger heist, where an insane chase is taking place.
With Elmore's finest hot on their heels, we expect they'll soon be brought to justice.
But Elmore's finest don't stop searching, and just a few seconds later, we find out the truth.
The police have called off the search after realizing the individual who reported the theft was an unusually rotund pink rabbit.
But the news doesn't stop, and neither does Elmore Channel 6. Even if the Joyful Burger heist was nothing but some ants taking a fry from poor Richard, they find another story to run. A story about a waste disposal strike organized by the toilets of Elmore.
I think we've all had enough, you know?
They even had plans to protest for their horrible working conditions, but unfortunately, there was no one to carry the toilets to the city hall, so it had to be canceled. But the news somehow isn't over yet, with a new breaking story about a celebrity meltdown.
You're supposed to come in after my lies!
I was just improvising.
It's even revealed that two characters are literally being done by the same person, a man by the name Anton Perez. He got so in character that he broke the script and then got mad at himself for it, to the point that Daisy the donkey, and by extension Perez, got sentenced to 2 weeks of community service. But if that was nonsensical, then words don't even exist to describe what comes next.
Oh, things are bad, bad, bad. About to get sadder, don't be.
It's some graphs cheerily singing a song about the stock market, along with how everyone else is doomed, and how people shouldn't even try or hope for things to get better. We've gone from an ant heist, to a burning home that shouldn't logically exist, to the breakdown of an imaginary character, all in the span of 8 minutes. But things get even weirder when the last segment of the news channel is literally about nothing.
Coming up next, we have nothing.
For the next few minutes, the episode is literally killing time as we wait for something interesting to happen. It looks like things are gonna get better when we switch to the sports news, at least until you actually see what the latest news is. The news is that kind of episode which doesn't make any sense, even if you rewatch it multiple times, and that's why it makes it onto the list of Gumball episodes that no one understands. But while the news captures the absurd media cycle of a town already on the brink of madness, the next episode somehow gets even weirder, which is saying a lot. We're of course talking about The Night, an episode that takes great pride in focusing its viewers to find logic in the illogical. While the moon is usually a witness to someone's romance, The Amazing World of Gumball decided that it was above that. It really showcases the chaos that lives in Elmore, and everyone is worse off for it. Just like the news, we again have short, rapid-fire segments, but instead about everyone's dreams, which start with Gumball's dreams, which is a classic. But then things get weirder when we go into Banana Joe's dream. He has a dream that he's trying to catch his own rear end, but then he splits into 2 bananas, one of which has his face on both ends, and the other has his rear on both ends. Then we go back to Gumball's household, where Nicole is finally catching a break in her sleep, being able to relax on a beach. But as usual, Richard destroys her peace by snoring loudly and getting on top of her. And what is Richard dreaming of during all of this?
I'm a bun, I'm a bun, I'm a tasty, tasty bun.
Yeah, but the weirdest dream by far has to be Larry's dream. He dreams that he is in a dream that's inside of another dream. Eventually, he gets woken up by Donut Cop, but he still thinks he's in the dream, so he continues to do as he pleases, and that doesn't turn out well for him.
Okay.
The only one that maybe could have been weirder is Sussie's dream, where she breaks the fourth wall completely. And we ended off with Alan's dream, which is so happy and tame that he just hums to himself while he sleeps. The night gets a spot on this list because it really has no beginning, no end, and no logic to it. If the imagery of the night proves that the characters' minds are dangerous by nature, the next episode shows what happens when even the most kind-hearted characters show their dark side. If you ever wanted to know what the cute, always happy Darwin would look like when he's evil, you don't need to go any further than Season 4's episode, The Safety. It starts as a parody of overprotective parenting and ends as a full-blown psychological thriller. And somewhere on the way, the beloved Darwin becomes a dictator. But this insane episode has humble beginnings, with a short safety video.
Please take care, because danger's lurking.
It affected everyone, even their teacher, but no one took it worse than Darwin. The video frightened Darwin so much that he started being overprotective about Gumball, being worried about even little things on his way back home. But things don't stop here, and Darwin gets even more paranoid by the next day.
What the? Wait, what's happening? It's like there's some kind of device censoring every gosh word I say.
Cursing is unsafe, Gumball.
And it's not just Darwin. He has managed to convince everyone except Gumball.
It is for our own good. It is for our own good.
But it's not just the food or the house. Gumball can't even watch anything in peace. When he tries to watch a show about a wolf trying to catch an ostrich using dynamite, Darwin lectures the showrunners about how this kind of thing should be removed from the show because young children might imitate it, and they actually remove it and stop the show, which is insane because all that happened is that a child told them what they're doing is dangerous.
It's for our own good.
It's for our own good.
When he wakes up, he finds out that he's trapped with the rest of the family, and all they'll talk about is making sure that the rest of Elmore is safe. But Gumball quickly finds out that his family isn't actually brainwashed. They're just pretending to be since Darwin is watching them through a camera. So Gumball comes up with an ingenious way to bust them out. All that's left is to take down Darwin, and they come up with an awesome plan. First, Richard distracts all of the guards. Then, Nicole takes down the guards dramatically.
Did anyone see what happened? I'm pretty sure I didn't hit this guy.
And finally, Anais hacks into the alarm system and opens the door, allowing Gumball to have a final confrontation with his own brother, now the dictator of Elmore.
I'm the hero here.
Look at yourself.
Did I go too far?
Yes, yes, yes!
Long story short, Gumball is finally able to convince Darwin that he went too far. And so, Darwin removes all of his rule and allows Elmore to continue like this never happened. Well, maybe with one small change in how they do things.
All hail the mighty Gumball and Darwin.
It's obvious why this episode makes it onto the list. Darwin being able to capture the entirety of Elmore and force them to follow his rules in the span of just a couple days doesn't make any sense. And the episode has a lot of meta breaking, especially with the child filters that come up multiple times. But after escaping the very real prison of Darwin's safety rules, the Watterson children immediately pivot to fighting a different battle in the next episode, the Void. The Void can really only be described as one thing, the trash can of the universe. So what can go wrong when the beloved cast ends up there? But this dangerous episode starts with Gumball and Darwin staring at some cheerleaders. While both of them are just talking about how the cheerleaders could have been better, Gumball says that they were clearly missing something. And like a sleeper agent, their teacher, Mr. Small, awakens, wearing a tinfoil hat, talking about mysterious disappearances all over Elmore.
Stuff goes missing all the time in this town. Everyone pretends it doesn't happen, but I say it's a conspiracy.
Well, neither of them believe Mr. Small right now. They soon realize that things aren't as they seem when they find out that Locker 116, which belonged to Molly, has mysteriously disappeared. And not just the locker either. Molly herself has vanished without a trace, with no one other than Darwin, Gumball, and Mr. Small even remembering that she exists. And the only proof they have of her existence is this one small photograph.
Oh yeah, that's Molly.
We were definitely friends.
How could we not remember remember.
They decide to go to Molly's treehouse to investigate, but when they get there, even the treehouse has disappeared. But they weren't gonna give up so easily, so they pry open a rift and were able to go into the void themselves.
On second thought, maybe we should just forget about Molly and Janice and stuff. I don't remember Molly anyway.
Inside the void, they finally find Molly hidden frozen in her treehouse. Unfreezing her was just as easy as lightly touching her on the shoulder, but it was much harder to convince her about what had happened. She didn't even remember being sucked into the void, but after some bickering, they found her and they met back up with Mr. Small.
She runs on sunflower oil and good vibes, and we've got plenty of both, right? Let's go!
Mr. Small had also found the love of his life, Janice, aka his van, and with the power of friendship and good vibes, they were able to get out of the void just in time. And they are really excited to tell everyone about this amazing discovery they had made, and how they could use this to explore and find hundreds of missing items all over Elmore, and maybe even the world.
We must tell everyone before the world tries to make us forget.
What were we talking about again?
The void deserves a spot on this list for just the void itself. It's like the backrooms of Gumball, a place where all the mistakes of the world go, and when something goes in there, it rarely ever comes back the same. The next episode explores what happens when that madness finally shatters the laws of physics themselves. The episode, The Job, proved the Wattersons aren't just a dysfunctional family. They are a walking, breathing violation of the laws of physics. To understand why this episode remains as one of the most misunderstood and terrifying in the entire series, we have to look at the day Richard Watterson almost accidentally deleted the universe because he wanted a paycheck. The episode starts with Nicole having a bad dream. She thought that Richard had gotten a job as a pizza delivery guy, meaning that both of them would be working now. But that's when Anais wakes her up.
Wake up!
Except it wasn't a dream. Richard really had gotten a job as a pizza delivery guy. He had originally called Frivolous Pizza to get a snack, but the number was a job application, and he ended up getting hired. At first, he didn't want to do the job, but then he came up with a genius plan.
Remove a slice from the center of the pizza. Eat the pizza slice. Push the remaining halves of the pizza back together.
Richard hadn't even started the job yet, but was already finding ways to get free food out of it. Back at home, Nicole is worried about this new change, and while Anais does convince her that this is good, things are not as they seem.
Look at the crack down the earth. And your father's eyes? I've got a bad feeling about this.
We cut to Richard as he's doing his job as well as you'd expect. He drops basically all of his pizzas, so Gumball and Darwin have to pick them up and deliver them for Richard. The first house they visit is the Pepperonis, who had ordered their new baby, a pepperoni pizza they could raise as their own.
Here's a 20.
If we remember from the world, that pizza was actually alive, and so Gumball literally just committed murder, all for $20. But while the kids are delivering the pizza, Richard is casually tearing a hole in the fabric of reality. Nicole notices this and realizes that her bad feeling is actually right, and Richard is destroying the world. But when she tells this to Anais, all she thinks is that her mom is going crazy. Anais tries to calm her mother down, with Gumball and Darwin coming back home, saying they didn't have much difficulty delivering the pizza. But when they turn on the news, they see that strange occurrences are happening all over Elmore, and so Nicole makes a big decision.
See, I told you! This is all because of your father! Some things are not meant to be.
So they grab Richard's manager, Larry, and try to get him fired. But when they find out that tearing the fabric of reality is not grounds for letting Richard go, they bring Larry to Richard and let him see just how good of an employee Richard is. But before they can do that, they get stuck in an insane reality warping sequence. But finally, somehow, they're able to bring Larry to Richard, and that's when Larry finds out the truth.
Have you been eating this pizza?
I fire thee.
No!
Richard is fired, and balance is restored to the universe once again. Well, those are all the Gumball episodes that nobody understands. If you want to see more Gumball-related content, make sure to subscribe, and click the video on screen right here. I'm sure you'll love it.